All right, so we are in Algebra 2. Today is my first day back since the weekend. I probably will be gone Friday. We'll see. Riley has an ear infection. Today is the average rate of change of polynomials. Everything that we're doing for this unit is polynomials. So if I say average rate of change, of course we are talking about polynomials. Quiet raised hand is the default in this class, so don't shut it out. If you shout it out, you will lose 10 HP. Everyone's laptops should now be shut. Shut, 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 and we are all paying attention. All right, who would like to read the objective with a quiet raised hand?
I can't see.
Can't see? Do you need to sit closer? All right, Caroline, please read our objective. Perfect. Anna, that is 50 XP to Caroline. All right, so average rate of change. I gave you a random polynomial. I want to know the average rate of change over the interval from -3 to 2. And the graph is right there. -3 is right there on the graph. 2 is right here on the graph. I want to find the average rate of change between these 2 points. Any ideas? India.
You need to find out how much the slope has gone downwards and how far away it is from the original point.
Yeah, exactly. You're finding the slope between those 2 points. That's an Algebra 1 problem right there. We all know how to find slope. Yeah, so perfect. And that's exactly what that equation is right here. This is how you find slope. F of b minus f of a all over b minus a. Which one is a, which one is b? It doesn't matter. But generally speaking, a comes before b in the alphabet. Therefore, I'm going to say that -3 is going to be my a, and 2 is going to be my b. But it doesn't matter. I could have chosen that randomly. I could have said b and then a. It will still work. You will get the same slope. But before I start calculating what the slope is using math, I want to figure out what the average rate of change looks like graphically, using pictures, using a diagram. Does anyone have an idea? The answer is just a line. So you don't need to use a ruler, you can just sketch it. This is the line. Between these 2 points, that line now represents the average rate of change. The slope of that line is going to be this right here. This is calculating the slope of the line that connects those 2 points. When India said just find the slope between those 2 points, it's literally just this line. So if you just want to find slope by doing rise over run, you could do it graphically over here. You could say, if I come back over here, you can say, oh, well, I went from 2 to 12, so I went up 10. This right here, this triangle is 10, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can find the slope that way. That's the graphical way of doing it. But the homework tonight is not graphical unless you want to graph every single one of these problems. Tonight, it's just this. Give you equation, find it algebraically. So I think it's best for us to practice algebraically. So I need some volunteer to tell me what is the numerator, and then I'll get a second volunteer for the denominator. Let's start with the denominator, actually. B minus a. What is b? What is a? Someone, quiet raised hand. What is b? What is a? I'm doing the denominator right here. What am I substituting in? I circled one, circled the other. What are a and b? I only see 3 hands. That's not enough. Brian. Yep, so -3 is a, and b is 2. So it's going to be 2 minus -3. Sure, you can leave that one shut because the windows don't open. The windows don't open on that one. It's just going to make it hotter. You want to close that one? Oh yeah, it's on the other side. All right, ask me questions now. Why did I do 2 minus -3? That would be a question, but no one is asking it. Beverly, did you have a question?
Oh no, sorry, I'm just like touching my...
Okay, I thought you were going to tell me a secret. Yeah, where did I get those numbers from? Why are there 2 negatives, Aurelio? Where did this negative right here come from, Aurelio?
I'm guessing it's that circle right there and that circle right there.
A good guess, but this negative right here came from this negative right here. I'm trying to figure... This -3 is -3, so that's where the second negative came from. I'm wondering, where did this first negative come from?
From the b minus a.
Is there a quiet raised hand? Go for it, Ellery.
From the denominator of the formula b minus a.
Hold on.
I guessed it.
You yelled out your answer. I said, if you yell out your answers from here on out, you will lose.
I'm using my power. I'm using my power.
Okay.
So let's see what you gotta do.
Jaden's done it.
Ah, buddy. Looks like you're at home now.
All right. I will learn and recite a poem.
I didn't know.
That's gonna. Wait, that already applied last time, so I'm not gonna do it again.
What?
Wait.
So I will learn and recite a poem. The 10 HP has already been deducted from all of your team members before, so that's okay. You're still gonna die again unless someone heals you, Jaden. All right.
I didn't know that you were marking.
Ellery, can you repeat it again, please?
It's from the denominator of the formula b minus a, so the minus sign translates over, and then a had a negative 3, so you end up with 2 negatives.
All right, Colby, Aurelia, you also lost HP. You're talking while another student is trying to talk. You can't be doing that. You guys know better. That's off task. That's 10. You can't be talking while other people are talking. Where is this? Off task. No, I'm going to go like this. All right, exactly. This negative sign came from the equation. This negative sign was part of the negative 3. All right, so from here, I need another quiet raised hand. Who can do the numerator, the top? What numbers are going to go into the top? I see one hand. I'll scroll up so you can see. This is saying the height of B, the height of A. What is the y coordinate? Let me see those hands. Who has it? Anna and India, is that it? What is the y coordinate of B? F of B. What is that? India.
The f of b is 2, and f of b a is
2 and 12. I'm copying down the minus sign in between. It's 2 minus 12 on the top. Where those numbers came from? The y coordinate was 12. The y coordinate was 2. If I come over from B, B comes over all the way over here to 2. That's why I wrote 2. And then if I come to A, the height at 2 comes all the way over here to 12. Aurelia, if you can't see, you need to move closer. Yes, because otherwise you're just going to be complaining the whole time that you can't see, and you're not going to be learning.
Then I just want to don't say anything.
Well, that doesn't solve the problem of you not learning. Come sit between Indy and Ellery. That's a little bit closer. What's up, Jaden?
I was wondering if I could ask Trey if he could heal me.
I just stay here and I'll bring my
I am saying no.
True, you get XP for doing that, though.
I need my glasses tomorrow. Is that okay?
Fine, bring black glasses tomorrow. Okay, so graphically, the what of the line connecting the 2 points starts with an S. The what of the line connecting the 2 points is the same thing as this number that we're about to find. Let's come back here. The what? Beverly. It is the slope indeed. All right, sorry to be jumping around, but let's come back over here. I now need to find what number this is. You don't need to simplify it. I just need to do the top and the bottom. 2 minus 12, and then 2 minus negative 3. Who can do that for us? Those two problems. Only 2, 3 people can do that. No one can do 2 minus 12. That's not good. Anna, go for it. Negative 10 on the top. Good. And on the bottom, we have... When negatives kiss Anna, they become... So you get what on the bottom? 5. Anna, give yourself 50 XP. And I will do the obvious step. This is negative 2. And box it. Half of your homework tonight is doing this. Finding the average rate of change of polynomials. They will give you a random polynomial, and then you will have to use our equation to find that slope. Let's try another one on your own. My interval now is between negative 3 and negative 1. I need to find the average rate of change using this formula. Oscar, laptop should not be open. All right, so everyone right now, I'm going to pause the video, be working on example number 1. Use this previous example to help you. You're just using this equation, plugging in these numbers. I'm going to plug in negative 3 squared is 9, etc., etc. Good luck. All right, we are doing the lesson again, which means you guys are not talking, you are paying attention. So for this one, I'm going to rewrite the equation. It looks like a lot of people did that correctly. It's f of b minus f of a, all of this divided by b minus a. From here, I'm going to have to decide what is A, what is B. Generally speaking, bless you. Generally speaking, I'm going to say the first part is A, the second part is B, the first number, rather.
Is it always like that?
Generally, yeah.
Do I have to raise my hand to ask stuff like that?
You should ask stuff like that with the correct answer.
That was just for answers, not questions.
Say again?
So B goes first and A goes second, but that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Please raise your hand from now on, though. Okay, so if I've randomly chosen A and B, then I start plugging this in. So this equation now becomes f of -1 minus f of -3. All of this divided by, and then B is -1. A is -3. I have the minus sign that I copy down, and then A is the -3. Now's the time to ask questions.
Wait.
Yes, Ellery.
Why in the problem before, see B and A in the numerator were different than the B and A in the denominator? Why are they the same this time?
This time I haven't actually figured out what the height is yet. I haven't plugged in the number. Before we were plugging in the number to figure out the height, which we just did using the graph. Now we have to do it using the equation. So I'm about to do it, in other words.
Question.
Yes.
So I just, after you write that, you just like copy it down on the bottom line?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. Do that.
Yeah, bless you. All right, so now I'm going to actually figure out what is f of -1. That means I'm plugging in -1 into this equation right here. When I plug in -1 in the place of x, it's going to say -1 squared. Everyone's going to shout that. -1 squared is
Negative 1 squared.
1.
Oh, so
Negative times a negative is a positive, therefore -1 squared is 1. So this now turns into 1 plus 2 is 3. That means f of -1 is 3. When I plug in -1 to our equation, I get out 3. That means the height is 3. I'll repeat everything that I just did. From here to here, first step to second step. How many people got lost?
That made sense, but I just don't see how it relates to the other problem we did.
Yeah.
Good. On the other problem
Like,
that we
I see
did,
what you're
this number
saying.
2 was the height of B. I need to find the height of -1. The height of -1 is when I plug in -1 into this equation.
Wait, that doesn't, because, wait, but we have a number there, but it's not the height. But when we had a number there before that was the height.
F of -1 is the height. 3 is the height. 2 is the height.
And then why is 3 also the height?
This 3 right here. Why is that the height? Because I plug in -1 into fx. When I plug in -1, -1 squared was 1 plus 2 is
Right.
3. Therefore, whatever the output is, it's saying the height is now 3.
Yeah, I had one the height before. Wait, no, I just don't understand. Why are there 2 heights? Like, why is -1 and 3 a height?
So if I come back up here, there are 2 points that I'm talking about. This height and this height. What we're doing right now is we're figuring out this height. What I'm about to do is figure out this height.
I see.
Maybe you might have said that, now I get it.
Okay, very good.
What's the F for?
The f is the function. So if I would have done g, it would have been talking about a different function. This f is the reason I'm writing f's here. If I did g of x, then I would be writing g of b, g of a,
So
g
where
of
are you
g of
plugging
negative.
1 in?
I'm plugging -1 into f. Because it says f -1, I plug -1 right here and here. F of -1 is
To
-1
find
squared.
the other height?
To find the first height. This is the first height, this is the second height.
And
This
we're
is the
finding
first
the
x
first
coordinate, this is the second x coordinate.
We're finding the first type by plugging in the first number, which is -1,
Yes.
into x.
Yes.
Okay, I get that now, but I still don't see how we did that with the graph.
Yes. I would prefer Choir's hand.
Oh, sorry.
Aurelia first.
What?
Get it right, Choir's hand. Okay, other Choir's hands. Yes, Ellery.
Wait, so how did we do that with the graph then?
So if I come back up here, I kind of skipped a step, and I think that's what's confusing everyone. What I really had here was f of 2 minus f of -3. And then f of 2 turned into 2, f of -3 turned into 12.
Wait,
How did the 3 turn into a 12?
So f of -3, this thing right here, is saying, what is the height at x equals negative 3? At negative 3, the height is 12.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, and then
F of 2 says, what is the height at 2? F of 2, the height at 2. If I go over to 2, the height at this point is 2. Aurelio.
Last time I didn't raise my hand, I got HP off, so I'm a little very fair.
Yeah, you don't pay.
You knew raise your hand.
Jake, can you go
I gave you your HP back.
Mine?
Try to preserve fairness. So, once again, what we're doing, these are the heights. These are the x coordinates. I'm doing the height of B minus the height of A. The x coordinate of B minus the x coordinate of A. In order to find the height, I need to plug it into the equation. With a graph, that's easy. Just look at the height. What are you eating?
Nothing.
Drinking water.
I'm just drinking water.
It just has ice in it.
Why are you looking at my water? I'm just gonna throw it out. I want you to see it.
I have another question.
It's tweaked back.
Yes.
So why would you put negative 3? Why wouldn't you just put 12? Why do you have to put negative?
Why did I write out f of that thing?
Yeah, I just don't get why you put negative 3 in first and then you put 12. No,
You
the
can
first one.
totally just go from here to here. That's allowed. That's a shortcut. You don't. I'm being very formal in my writing, saying, okay, if I have B is negative 1. I'm literally just switching out the B for negative 1, and then I'm going to plug it in. So I'm showing my work. If you just want to go f of B is 3, that's fine.
I didn't even know where you got the 3 from.
I'm confused. Huh?
The 3. Once again, f of negative 1 says I am plugging in negative 1. I'm finding the height when I plug in the x coordinate negative 1. I'm plugging in negative 1 to what equation? This equation right here, because this f and this f are this f. When I plug in negative 1 squared plus 2.
3. Okay.
I'm not done yet. I still have to write 1, 2, 3 more parts of this equation. Oh, wait.
So when we plug it into the equation, that's the equivalent of looking at the graph and seeing what is the height from this point.
Exactly. Yes.
That makes
When I'm plugging in, this negative 1 is the equivalent of saying, what was the height at 2? And I'm looking at the height of 2. But so we don't have a graph, we literally need to plug this into the equation. Jaden,
So, can I just plug it into that first and not that thing down there?
plug into this first.
Yeah. Because aren't you just grabbing those same numbers and putting them in there or no?
Those same numbers are plugged in where? Like there's a bunch of places that could be doing stuff.
No, never mind.
You just plug me to the X.
No, the 1 and the 3. Are you putting those in that one up there?
Yes.
So do I even need to put it down there? Can I just throw it up there?
I mean, you have to do it twice, but yeah.
Why?
I'm confused on your question. So you're trying to find the slope, right? This is the equation right here of slope.
Okay, and then I plug in A and B, which is negative 3, like 1.
Good.
Okay, so after I get all that, do I throw that up there?
Throw what up where? Throw up the point.
Does negative 1 take away negative 3?
Negative 1, take away
No,
this.
never mind.
Right here.
How if you plug it into like X?
The F.
What am I plugging in where? You need to be more specifically
I'm being
related
very
to your point.
specific. He's not getting it. Okay, fine, fine. Alright. So, when I get here, pretend this 3 isn't here, what do I do when I'm right there?
When I'm right here, I plug in negative 1 into this equation to get up 3. I plug in negative 3, we haven't done it yet, and then I keep this bottom the same.
So I only do 1 first?
So plug in negative 1, done, we get 3. Stop.
Plug it
Redo
into
the
that
process
X right there?
to this x right here.
Both X's.
What X?
F of
This one or that one?
This will make it clear. Both.
Both of them?
Wherever there's an x, you substitute it. That's the
See?
general idea.
Oh, okay, cool. That was.
The F right? What do I do with the X?
Look,
Just a note.
everywhere there's an x, I'm plugging it in. Ready?
Do you plug it into the
F of negative 1 equals negative 1 quantity squared plus 2.
Okay, and then I get that answer, and then I plug in. Then I plug in negative 3.
Well, f of negative 1 is 3. F of negative 1, this right-hand side is 3.
Okay. So then what do I do?
Wait, what does the F?
All we did was we plugged in a negative 1 wherever we saw an x. We're using this equation.
You said we do it 2 times.
When I do negative 1 squared, you get 1.
Okay.
This right here is just 1.
Okay. 1.
What's
plus
1 plus 2?
3. Hey, you didn't raise your hand.
That's where the 3 came from. Next hand. Ellery's been waiting for a while.
So, or I guess maybe we're not to this point, but why don't you change the bottom?
We're
Why
going
don't
to.
why don't you do substitution with the bottom?
This equation says b minus a. We did substitution. B
Okay.
was -1, so this b turned into a -1. This a is a -3. There's no f of anything. So we don't have to plug anything into f. When it says f of something, we have to plug into that function f.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Next question. Beverly.
So nothing happens to the f of -1 on the top.
What do you mean nothing happens?
Right, like, what happens to the -1?
This is f of -1. You should just leave it f of
It
-1.
just stays the same.
Just stays f of -1 because this is f of -1. We are going to substitute. This is 3, right? F of -1 is 3. I'm substituting out 3 for f of -1 because they're the same thing. 3 takes the place of f of -1. More questions?
Yes. Do alligators eat people?
If there's irrelevant questions, that is an HP deduction. I think you might have forgotten that, but I will show you. If you ask an unhelpful question, you will lose 5 HP. Now you know. Moving on. I am now going to find out what is f of -3. F of -3 means I'm plugging into this equation again. Everywhere that you see an x, change that to a -3. So this is now f of -3 is equal to -3 quantity squared plus 2. Help me out here. Quiet raise hand. Who can simplify the right-hand side of this equation that I just wrote?
Why are you writing?
India.
11.
It is indeed 11. -3 squared is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Is there a question, Jaden?
That's really up. I don't have a question right now, I guess.
So this is saying that f of -3 is indeed 11, which means this f of -3 is 11. I'm substituting that out. I still have the minus sign. 3 minus 11.
Why are you writing?
Okay, I see.
Yes.
Why are you writing it up there? You're mixing me up.
I'm showing you where I'm substituting it in.
Okay. Alright.
I'm subbing into f of x. I mean, I could have done it over here in the blank space. I'm just showing you f of x. On the bottom,
I think I get it now.
I'll pause here so people can digest. Talk with your neighbors if you need to. Figure this out because you're doing it for homework.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
So you're just putting in
Okay, on the bottom, I have negatives kissing. Whenever negatives kiss, shout it out.
Can we just say
Positive. When they're holding hands. When they're holding hands, they become positive. So it's -1 plus 3. All right, simplify this even further. I need one quiet raised hand to simplify the numerator and the denominator. Leo,
Whatever happened to our cards?
we need to make some. But I figured because I'm gone so much this week, we can make it on a day that I'm here more. Beverly.
So it's gonna be
2.
8 over 2, which is gonna be 4.
Close.
Oh, what?
4 over 1.
Check.
Oh, negative 8 over 2, so it'd be -4.
There it is. -4. Box it. I will run through this whole process one more time. Make sure that everyone really understands this. We started with this equation. It will be a different equation every single question on Khan Academy. This is our equation. This was our interval. I chose A and B kind of randomly. I said A was the first one, B was the second one. From there, all I'm doing is I'm rewriting the equation from our notes. This is the equation of the average rate of change. And then I'm filling in. Wherever you see a B, write a -1. Wherever you see an A, write a -3. Back up from here to here. Question, go.
So it doesn't matter what you choose.
Could have been backwards, yes. So from there, I just substituted my A and B. But now I still have to figure out what f of -1 is. The only way to figure out what f of -1 is by plugging in -1 for both these x's, which I did in this line. F of -1 was 3. The left-hand side was f of -1. The right-hand side was 3. I can plug in 3 for f of -1, 3 for f of -1. I do the same process again. F of -3, I plug in this -3 here and here, wherever you see an x.
Okay.
The f of -3 is 11. I substitute out 11 for f of -3. I still have this negative sign that is copied down.
Okay.
I simplify the fraction, I get -4. Are we okay? Fists of 5, where are you at?
I think I'm a 4.
Are you being honest with a 1?
He's being
I'm like
honest.
a 3.5.
Yeah, well, I'll probably give it a 2 because I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Maybe if we
I
go-
know where to focus my time.
Can we go to
You are now on example number 2. This one is going to be even harder.
So why do you give us hard
The
stuff?
G of X isn't different from the F of X,
Another
right?
half
It's just
hour
a
on the
different
phone.
Just different letter.
variable.
For this one, I not only have to do one problem, I have to do 4 of them. There are shortcuts if you look for them. I can do this one
You could do
like that. Okay, I know what the answer is. If you find shortcuts, it makes your life easy. I'm not going to tell you what the shortcut is because you finding the shortcuts is how you learn. Aurelio, that's HP. I'm talking, you're trying to talk over me. Well, you weren't trying to talk over me, but you were definitely talking while I was talking.
Thank you, that's more.
You're down to 5. Be careful. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out the equation for each of these. I'll do letter A with you, maybe hinting at the shortcut. Our equation is f of b minus f of a, all divided by b minus a.
Can you let us figure it out and then you can explain it to us?
Sure.